Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel In a Glass of Her Own. Thanks for choosing to come back and watch the follow-up video to the Beginner's Guide Google Classroom video. If you haven't watched that yet and you are a beginner, I would heavily suggest you go to that one first and then come to this video. So today we're going to focus on giving feedback to our pupils through Google Classroom. There are lots of different ways to do this, but I'm going to focus on 3 areas. The first area is just providing private comments to the students and making easy ways like using comment banks to make that feedback process that little bit quicker and easier for us. The second method is setting up a rubric. I'll show you from start to end of how to use a rubric. I found it a really useful tool in the last few weeks. It's really helped pupils engage and also really improved their quality of work as well. So if you haven't tried that yet, I definitely suggest that you give it a go. And the final thing that I'm going to show you today is how to import marks from quizzes, so that you have all your different marking schemes all in the one place and it's easier to track how your pupils are doing. Also, I do apologise if you heard cat wailing in the background throughout my video. I wasn't very good at editing it out, sorry. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you know when there's new videos coming up. Also, if you have any other ideas for new videos or if there's anything that you would like me to go over, even if it's just a small thing, please let me know and get in touch. It'd be great to hear from you. So as you can see, this is my classroom and I've already got an assignment posted here for my pupils. Sometimes it's not as obvious because the streams may be full of comments or different posts. So the easiest way to navigate is to go to your classwork to find your assignments that you've posted. So I've posted this one assignment here. What the assignment is, a Google Slides that I attached. If I go into the edit, you can see how I have attached it to each pupil. At the minute I've just put it as unmarked and to all students, so I'm just going to save that. Now what I already have is 2 students have handed it in to me, so I'm going to now mark this. So I'm going to click on the 2 handed in and that takes me to the student work. I can flick back to the instructions if I wanted, but I'm going to flick to the student work. So here I've got student A and student B. I'm going to open up student A's. And what this does is it brings me into this kind of view. If you wanted to see it as how the pupil will have seen it in Google Slides, you just click this button here and this takes you to the Google Slides view. But I'm just going to close that down and go back to the teacher kind of marking view. Now because I've not set it up to be marked by a number, the only way that I'm going to give feedback on this particular assignment is through comments. So you've got a couple of different options here. You can first of all just give a general comment back to the student, which would be a private comment, or you can give comments within the slideshow itself. So the way you do that is you can either select the words, so if it was in a document or something like that, you could select the words and then comment on that. In this case what I'm going to do is I'm going to select individual pictures and provide feedback. So I'm going to select this picture here and I'm going to go up to the little add comment tool and I can add a comment and I just hit post comment. So now pupils will see when they hover over that comment that I have selected that particular image. Now what I often find is when you set out an assignment you're often commenting the same things. So Google have set up an excellent little tool of creating a comment bank. So I'm going to add this particular comment to my comment bank that I can use over and over again. I'm going to hit the 3 wee dots and select add to comment bank. From here we could edit it a little bit to make it maybe more general, or say for example in the first comment you've maybe mentioned a kid's name, you just take that out to make it suitable for everybody. So I'm going to press add. Now to find the comment bank you just hit this little button here and what you can see is I've already got my comment there. Now a way to easily retrieve this in the future, if I were to select another image, add a comment, if I use the hashtag, what it does is when we search for any of these keywords, it would bring up the comment that I'm looking for. Obviously we've only got one in our comment bank just now, so it has brought up the one that I'm looking for. So I just click that and then I can press comment and there we have another comment. I'm going to delete this one because I don't actually need that one. Going back to our grading comments, I can now add a private comment to my pupil. And I can now post that. I'm now going to move on to the next pupil to mark. Easy way to do that, rather than coming out of this view, you can just do the drop down menu and then flick to the next student. So once again, I'm going to provide individual feedback on the images and give a private comment as well. Now, switching between pupils, I added more to the comment bank. So I'm going to click on the image, add a comment to hashtag, and this time I've added more to my comment bank. So I'm going to use this one. And this one is a good example of shape, so I'm going to comment that. I'm going to add another comment to this image. I'm going to post that. And again, I'm going to provide an overall general comment to the pupil. So I've posted that comment. Now what I would like this pupil to do is a bit more work on this, so I'm going to actually return it back to them. Press return. Now if I go back to the Google Classroom view, just refresh this. So now what you will see is that one pupil has handed it in and one has been returned, so meaning that I know that this pupil still needs to do a bit more work. And what's quite handy is you can usually see the last comment that you have made to the pupil, so you know that this pupil has done alright. If you wanted to go back in and look, you can just click on the student name and you can see the private comment that I gave to them for their next steps. This is also where you would see any responses that a pupil would make back to you. I'm now going to show you the brilliant tool of adding a rubric. When I first saw this function, I thought it didn't really apply to me and my subject, but actually as I've started using it, it's really changed the way that I'm using Google Classroom and the way that I'm marking, and it's really helped cut back time on giving feedback and grading pupil work. So let's get started. So I'm going to go to the classwork tab and I'm going to create a new assignment. I'm going to add my file and I'm making a copy for each student. I'm just going to leave the points for just now, but we'll come back to that in a second. But this is our interesting part. So I'm going to hit add rubric. So I'm going to create a new rubric because I've never set it up before, but once we have set it up, you would be able to reuse a rubric. So this is where we can start adding our criteria and setting up our rubric. And you can add as many as you like and as many levels as you would like. So I'm going to go for justification. Top mark I'm going to make out of 3. I'm going to make it level 3 and I'm going to give it a brief description. Okay, so that's my first category that I'm going to mark out of. I'm going to add another one. So this will all start to make a bit more sense once I've actually created the rubric. Obviously this is very subject specific of the types of criteria that I'm using, but you could potentially use spelling or grammar as your different criterion. Perhaps if you teach history, it's making references to using different sources. Anything really, you can be as creative as you want using a rubric. I am just making one that is suitable for the type of task that I have set my students. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off this rubric very quick. Okay, now that I've added all my different categories, you can see at the top here that it has created the total number of points that are up for grabs for the pupils. So I'm just going to hit save and it has added the rubric to my assignment here. So I'm now going to change this to out of 18 marks and it's to all students, so I'm happy with that and I'm going to assign it. So to give you an idea what this rubric might look like for a student, if I go onto my student account, so you can see that it's a different little icon at the top there, and if I go to the product evaluation, the rubric comes up for the student, so it means that they are able to see what categories that they are getting marked on. If I went to the little drop down menu, they can see the description of all the different points scoring. So that's just to give you a little understanding of what the pupils will see. I'm actually finding that I'm getting a lot more engagement when I am posting rubrics and better quality of work from pupils because they have areas to work towards. So I found it really beneficial in the last week or so. So closing this down, going back to our teacher view, going into the product evaluation, you can see I now have one student that has handed in their assignment. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this now. So if I open this up, so for the purposes of just doing this, the pupil hasn't actually filled anything in, but I'm going to kid on that they have, and I'm going to give them a grade for it. So if you remember this view from before when we were marking the slides, it's very similar. We've got our marking down the side here. We can still add our private comments. We can still add from our comment bank. We can add within the document itself as well. But instead, we now have our rubric. So it gives us all our different categories. If I wanted to see in a little bit more detail about the categories, I just go to the drop down menu and it gives me the descriptions. So if I were to click strong justification, it gives us 3 out of 3 and it tallies up as we go. So if I go then down to all of these, I mean, I don't need to open them always up. I can just scroll through the document and then give a mark for all of these different things. So I'm just going to do this quickly. And you can see at the top there, it is given as a total mark. I could then add a comment, post it. What I can then do is hit return. If I close this down, you can now see that it has been marked. Now what's different about the last time was when we were just providing comments to our students, it wasn't providing us with a mark as such, so it wouldn't be in the marked category. And what you can see as well down the side here, it has brought up the pupils mark. If I now go back into the main page and go to the marks tab, what I can see is an overall view of how the pupils are performing. And obviously the more assignments that you put up, the more this will be populated. So it's a handy tool just to remember. I'm now going to show you the method of creating a quiz that will allow you to import your grades directly into Google Classroom. So again, I'm going to go up to classwork and I'm going to create an assignment. Now, if you haven't already made the form quiz, then obviously you could go for the quiz assignment. If you already have made it, then you just click assignment. And I'm going to add the quiz from my Google Drive. Other ways that you can add the form is through the link tool, where you take the link from the Google form. For some reason, doing it this way, it means that you don't have the option to import your grades, so it's better to do it from the Google Drive. And I'm going to select this one. This little tool comes up here saying grade importing. So you can switch that on or off, but I'm going to want to switch it on. You also want to change the point scoring, so this particular quiz is out of 12, and then I'm going to hit assign. Now, obviously you will still need to go in and double check that the marks are correct. So if I went into the edit the form, when you start getting responses in, you will still need to double check that you're happy with the marks before you import them to Google Classroom. To give you an idea of what that would practically look like, if you see here I have got one pupil that has handed it in. I've already marked 13 of them. Well, I say marked, but Google Forms has marked for me. All I need to do now is to import the grade of that one that has been handed in. So I click the imported grades button, and what that does is create a draft, and then I can just hit the 3 little dots and then press return, and that then returns the grade to the pupil. and obviously then show up on the marks tab as well.
Hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. Please let me know if there's anything else you would like me to go over in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next week.